In the technological arms race that is the post-pandemic video game industry, NVidia has recently released a piece of software titled RTX Remix, and along with it, a version of Portal with ray tracing. It is a beautiful feat of engineering, and most likely sets a precedent for what video games and their mods can do and be. The only thing about it is that it might do more harm than good. Sure, bringing old games to updated, new standards of graphical display is great. For people who enjoy video games for their realistic presentation of their digital worlds, it is an amazing gateway into experiences they would have disregarded otherwise. It can even make some games more bearable to players who can't tolerate a certain graphical style, especially younger or newer enthusiasts. However, the main issue that I have with this new step towards the Magix-like graphics of the future is exactly the benefits it brings. With it comes the likelihood of reinforcing the reasons why the ray tracing is needed in the first place. Conceptualize yourself 5 to 10 years ago. I can pretty much guarantee that your perception was focused on the new and improved experiences coming out soon. Remember Black Ops 2 and Skyrim? They were marvels of their time. Expanded rosters of weapons, new defining mechanics, new maps and lore, and more to do and more to play. Recently, I've been playing Hades, and as incredibly good as that game is, I have still not been able to shake away the looming feeling that I had played this game before. It was new and shiny and full of exciting developments, and by God do I not regret my purchase, but I can't stop thinking that if someone were to play this game for the first time, they might not be able to stomach playing Bastion simply because it is older and less shiny and has less features. It would be a lie to say that the glory of Hades is what would render the experience of playing Bastion irrelevant, but the problem doesn't have to do with relevancy in the first place. It has to do with choice and value, and how people derive it from the experiences they choose. Video games have comparatively been available for a short amount of time as a medium when put side by side with books, plays, or even movies. Someone that is used to seeing grandiose displays of computer-generated imagery might not be able to sit through Citizen Kane simply because he derives more value from his other choices, even though Citizen Kane is considered to be one of the greatest movies in cinematic history. I find that reality really unfortunate. It means that this person has missed out on one of the most amazing pieces of film, simply because they did not perceive the value of that artwork. We've had time to reflect on what brings value to someone that watches a movie, but as we are still in the infancy of the video game medium, this is not a discussion that goes around that much. What companies and consumers have come to perceive as something of value for a video gaming experience is its entertainment factor, be it through gameplay, storytelling, features, technological advances, you name it. The way that I see it, ray tracing is the latest installment in that way of thinking. It's providing a brand new, end-of-the-line feature that is technologically impressive as a way to increase the entertainment factor, and it works. As I said, it's a great piece of engineering. It's super impressive, and I cannot wait to see what developers and modders are going to be able to do with it. What I am concerned about, however, is the progression of this way of thinking. Once we have reached the perfect, most amazing, most entertaining game that could ever be possibly made, what exactly is there left? Do all other games become invalidated as a result of that? Are all of the experiences worthless now? You probably think this is ridiculous, and it is, and that's my point. The fact of the matter is that we know there is value in older games, but we don't necessarily know why or how to articulate it. Anyone should be able to enjoy any game at any time for what it is and what it brings. It doesn't have to be entertainment. Some developers are already moving in other directions, trying to explore other avenues of value, and it should give you a clue as to where I'm going with this. Take a game like Death Stranding, for instance. The backlash this game got when it was released was insane. Critiques of the game went from "this is not even a game" to "this is at best a walking simulator," which is unfortunate since this game has tremendous value, not in its entertainment factor, but its design factor. I genuinely think this is one of the best ways to talk about the value of video games. Playing video games purely for entertainment is completely valid, but playing them for their design is something else entirely. It's the only way I can see someone thinking their time is being spent wisely when playing Bastion over Hades. Entertainment-wise, Hades is leagues above Bastion, but without Bastion, there is no Hades, and how that game came up with the answers to its problems is incredible. Instead of finding value in what a video game produces, we can find value in how a video game produces. That is the design factor. Here, let me show you something super quick, super simple, and super neat. In Hades, your character moves fast. Movement is important. The fact that you can dash up to 2 times and choose a bonus movement action with your weapon and unlock certain boons that will give you access to more movement options are all a big testament to that. But in Bastion, your character moves slower. The world is being created around you as you run through it, and even though you can roll and get some additional movement options, it isn't prioritized as a core part of the experience. The developers do this so you can have the chance to listen to the narrator and pay attention to the world unfolding in front of you without boring you to death. That's all design, and there's a beauty in how this game was made and presented to its audience. There's something to gain from learning these things. You're a better, more knowledgeable person for understanding and incorporating those decisions into your life. Imagine missing out on all of that potential greatness because you wanted to play Portal with the funny lighting mod installed. What Valve managed to achieve with that game is incredible, and there is much to be learned from the design of Portal, and fundamentally changing it disregards their design for the sake of the entertainment factor. A good example of that is how the developers were able to make the game in the first place, and therefore its lighting, thanks to the work of 10 people only. A great example is how immersive they have managed to make this game with all of its intricacies, textures, and lighting included in 2.5 years. An amazing example has to do with the fact that most of the assets, textures, and code necessary to run the game in the first place comes almost entirely from Half-Life 2. This makes Portal and its design one spicy lesson for anyone out there. If you replace this core element with something NVidia and their immense teams have been working on for years, it takes away from that spice. Put it like this: Stardew Valley would have had much less design value if a team of 100 people worked on it. It would still be impressive, true, but the fact that a single dude came up with all of the music, assets, textures, story, and gameplay is phenomenal. There wouldn't be much of anything to learn from a AAA studio having made that game. Same principle. Once again, I love RTX. I want to see it more often, more efficiently, and in more applications. It's also much better to play a game with the ray tracing than to not play it at all, in my humble, lowly 600 subscriber Andy opinion. You should totally subscribe, by the way. It's free and it helps me out a lot. Thanks. But if this is not something that you have thought of before, perhaps you can go buy that one recommended Steam game from 12 years ago and give it a shot. Understand its design, its flaws, its qualities, how it became what it is. My recommendation is Half-Life, the first of its name. It came out in 1999. It's also made by Valve. The game is $12 normally, but on sale, it can be discounted up to 90%. For $1, it might be one of the best experiences you could ever have, if only you put the entertainment factor second to the design factor for a couple of hours. Or, I don't know, you can always play GTA 5 for the 11th year in a row, but don't you fucking dare say that Death Stranding is garbage, you goddamn dopamine addicted, Marvel watching, Funko Pop collecting, troglodyte looking ass boy!